Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Gardner Edgerton USD231 Candidate Forum. I'm Jason Lyon, President of the Gardner Chamber of Commerce. It's my honor to moderate tonight's forum between Heath, Freeman, and Threasa. Johnson County Public Policy Council, comprised of 10 chambers of commerce in Johnson County, developed today's questions focusing on business and community issues in the school district. We'll start with candidates speaking alphabetically and alternating throughout the forum. We have each candidate giving an introduction and opening statement for 2 minutes, followed by a 7-question Q&A. Each candidate will have 1.5 minutes to answer the question, and we'll end with a 2-minute closing statement. Due to time constraints, there will be no follow-up questions, formal rebuttal time, or audience participation. This evening's event is being streamed on Facebook Live and will be available on the Gardner Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, as well as the Johnson County Public Policy Council's website, www.votejoco.com. We ask you to remain quiet for the live streaming. You should listen to each candidate's response and use the information provided to make your decision. We have their introductions, so Heath, please tell us a little bit about yourself, organizations you've been involved in, and why you're qualified to serve on the Gardner Edgerton School Board.
Well, first, of course, I'd like to thank the Chamber again tonight for hosting us and all the candidates that were able to join us. It's so important that we get this chance to speak in front of an open forum and give this audience to so many people that are going to be going to the polls over the next couple of weeks. My name is Heath Freeman. I'm running for position number 7 at large. And my wife and I moved to Gardner in 2016, so we are 17 years in the district right now. We bought our first home here. My wife Jaylee is a teacher at Gardner Edgerton High School. My boy Peyton is a junior. And my reasons for running are simple. I love Gardner, I love this city, I love this district, and I bleed blaze of blue. I'm a small town kid at heart, and I'm driven just by a tremendous amount of hometown pride. And when you believe in your hometown, you give everything that you have to your hometown. And that's why I'm here today. I think this is the best way I can give back at this moment, and this is the best way I can offer to serve. As the husband of a teacher and the son of a student, I understand the importance of sound policy-making decision at the school board. I understand the impact that it has not only on my family, but on all the families of the district. I understand that policy has to be forward-thinking, that it has to create positive outcomes, and it has to have measures of excellence involved. The teachers and students of Gardner are the stars of this district, and our policy decisions must empower them to reach the highest levels of excellence. I've been engaged with local government now for 15 years. I've been on the city council. I've served on the planning commission. That's given me the experience to understand the importance of policy making, how policy is made, and then also how to enforce policy once it's come to fruition. One thing it's taught me is just how to have a strong voice in a room where there might be divisive opinions. It also taught me the strength of collaboration and the chance for us to work together. And that's been the common goal throughout my entire campaign. Our city is at its strongest when we work together. We will always be stronger together, and that's how we will accomplish the goals that we set for ourselves. My name is Heath Freeman, and that's why I'm running for Gardner and Edgerton.
Thank you. Threasa Lane, or Threasa.
Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Threasa Lane, and I'm running for the at-large position, and I do want to thank the Chamber for putting on this forum this evening, and Captain Inn for hosting us all, and for everyone who's in attendance this evening for support. For those of you who do not know me, I'm the daughter of an Air Force sergeant and a stay-at-home mom, and I grew up in Olathe. I married the love of my life just prior to moving to Gardner in 1989, and together we have 6 children, 3 of which graduated at Gardner Edgerton High School, 13 grandchildren, 3 of which graduated at Edgerton High School, Gardner High School. One who's in 4th grade at Sunflower Elementary right now, 3 great-grandchildren, 3 granddaughters. Our family has enjoyed living in Gardner for 34 years now and have been proud trailblazers. My son was on the soccer team. My daughter was on the volleyball team. We've enjoyed Parks and Rec. We've enjoyed everything that Gardner has to offer in a small town community. I feel that it's time to give back to this community. It's given so much to us. I've been coming to the board meetings since 2020, and I've decided to run for school board so that I could fill a vacancy that we need to keep filled with conservative-minded, pro-family agendas, and to be a positive asset to the board that will keep our children's education first and support our teachers to do what they do best to teach our children. I look forward to working with other board members, administration, and teachers, students, and parents to
candidates. We'll now move into the question and answer section. As a reminder, we each have 1.5 minutes to respond, and Threasa, we'll start with you. As a candidate, what are your top 3 education policy issues?
My top one is the special education department, as it has been on for some reason tonight. It obviously needs some assistance. I definitely would want to support that and work to make improvements for our special education needs and our gifted students as well. As walking through and talking to parents, the gifted children are also something that we need to pay attention to. As I walked and talked to the community, there are numerous times that parents told me the stories that had led to inconsistent processes, policies, and a lack of a clear answer for their child's needs, both special needs and the gifted, and our state needs to fully fund it. It's very necessary at this time. Civility policy is the other one. It's too vague. It does not list consequences for unacceptable actions. Knowing what the consequences are to your actions is important information to have before you consider inappropriate or unacceptable behavior. We would hopefully deter bad behavior by creating consequences. I think the students and their parents should be signing a policy at enrollment that reflects the behavior, expectations, and consequences that may be taken. We need the parents' support on this issue. The electronic devices are another thing that I'd like to address at some point. Unacceptable use of electronics on the internet sites is an issue. I do not think that the Chromebooks are locked down enough for the younger age groups. There's been inappropriate advertising that's popped up occasionally. And I've had parents tell me this. I've had this experience myself with children in my home. I also feel that there needs to be a policy in place regarding cell phone usage in the classroom at the middle and high school level.
Thank you. And Heath, your top policy education issues.
Excellent. My policy issues, they've been on my campaign materials, they've been on my Facebook page, on my website. The common theme about it is Together We Rise. Rise for retention, improving our classroom outcomes, strengthening our special education programs, and engaging our families. Of the 3 of those, the most critical, the same as many of our folks have talked about this evening, we have to retain our teachers. They are the MVPs of our district. They are the front-facing and most important assets that we have as a school system. So we have to do everything in our power to keep those people here and make Gardner a destination job. We have to be more purposeful and diligent with engaging with our families early in the education process. We have to be deliberate in the way that we engage our parents. We have to make them part of the education process from the day one that they enter our district so that they're engaged throughout the education of their student. We'll see higher outcomes within the classroom. We'll see higher level of excellence by doing so. And then, of course, as everyone else has mentioned, our special education right now simply isn't meeting the needs of all of our families. We have to address those concerns. We have to listen to these families and understand the challenges they're having navigating that system and understanding where they see this not working for them and be ready to react and overcome those challenges in a very efficient and quick manner so that we can meet those essential needs.
Thank you. And we'll stay with you for the next question. What are your thoughts on K-12 education funding in the district? What, if anything, would you change about the budget?
Well, the great thing about going last is you get to hear all the questions. The bad thing about going last is everyone stole your thunder. The answers are really quite the same across the board. The exciting thing, and I will have to commend the current Board of Education, this year's budget had the highest percentage of money directed into instruction in the classroom that's ever been in a Gardner Edgerton School District budget. 50% of the money we are spending is going into the classrooms for our students and for our teachers. We have to continue to see that grow. We have to manage that appropriately. We are the stewards of the taxpayers' dollars, so we have to make sure that we're managing that and understanding how every dollar is spent within the district. And as others have mentioned, I do think it has been a failure of our school board not to have a purposeful legislative agenda that they've sent to Topeka that demands full funding of our special education programs. Many of our challenges will be assisted through a fully funded educational program that doesn't depend on our general fund and allows us then to rededicate those resources to more efficient outcomes and more efficient solutions to those problems that we're facing.
Thank you. Threasa, what are your thoughts on K-12 education funding? What, if anything, would you change question, Threasa. The K-12 education system requires accountability measures for student performance, focused on post-secondary success and career readiness. Do you believe the district is meeting expectations for student achievement?
Well, according to the Public School Review website, our elementary schools have top ratings. However, a couple of our middle schools and our high schools have bottom 50% ratings. Another public school search site called niche.com also is showing our students are only 37% proficient in reading and 32% proficient in math. The ACT scores did average a little bit higher than they did in 2021, according to the Kansas State Department of Education. And do I think that our superintendent and our board are working diligently and try to make improvements for the shortfalls? I do. I honestly do. I believe they are, but there is still room for improvement, including an expanded VOTEC courses. Our school used to be ranked the highest in the state, but my youngest children, now in their 30s, attended USD 231. However, along the lines that ratings started to decline during COVID was made even worse. I will take time to see the results of improvements made now, but we must continue to work hard towards the excellence we once had and make that a priority goal. We've got to get those scores up so that we can attract the teachers that we're all so diligently trying to get. Our children are our future, and we owe them as much knowledge as we are able to teach, and they are able to learn. It is the responsibility of their parents and our district to do everything possible so that they become well-rounded, knowledgeable, and educated young adults.
Okay. Thank you. I'll repeat the question. The K-12 education system requires accountability measures for student performance focused on post-secondary success and career readiness. Do you believe the district is meeting expectations for student achievement?
Well, as some have mentioned before, obviously, the recent recognition of Edgerton as a Blue Ribbon Elementary shows the excellence in the education that our kids are getting in Gardner. The recent testing by KSDE, the report that left out, showed that we had growth in nearly every measure over 2022. So we are starting to see that recovery starting to reach towards higher levels, and we are performing above the state averages. With that said, I don't consider it to be enough. I don't think there is any reason why we can't expect Gardner to be, if not the one of the finest schools in all of Kansas. The question I keep asking myself when we read any of these measures, when we read about programs, when we read about facilities, when we read about teacher initiatives, is why not us? And we can be that school. We have been that school in the past. We can be that school again. We need to continue to expand on our workplace education opportunities. We need to prepare our kids for life after high school. We need to give them career readiness opportunities, whether that's through internships, whether that's through partnerships with the chambers, with our local unions. All these are opportunities for our kids to excel and be ready to enter life at 18 upon graduation and be productive within society, and that's exactly what our education is built to do. We need to continue to build on our College Now programs at the high school. We need to give these kids, again, that are looking to the college path after school, give them opportunities to get that head start at a discounted rate, but still reaching those levels of education and AP coursework that lets them be ready to excel once they get there. Again, it all comes back to me. Yes, we're doing well. No, we're not doing well enough for me, and why not us?
Thank you. We'll stay with you for the next question. The state legislature recently passed a bill requiring open enrollment, allowing non-residents to enroll in USD 231 schools. What are your thoughts on open enrollment and other efforts to expand school choice?
So school choice is coming to Gardner, it's coming to Kansas. It's inevitable, it's policy now by the state legislature. Right now, the current board is actually working on what Gardner's policy will be, and USD 231's policy will be for the open border legislation. And how will we accept those kids? What kids will be allowed within the districts, and what parameters will be set by that? That board will actually make that decision before any of us tonight take that seat in January. That's due to be decided upon by January 1, I believe. So a lot of that work will already be done. Personally, this is just the face of education in the state of Kansas right now. They build legislation that makes districts compete with one another depending on facilities, assets, teachers, retention, student achievement, all these different things. And at the end of the day, those are opportunities for us to push for a higher level of success and a higher level of excellence. So there is merit behind those. I do worry about some of the disadvantages they're going to create outside of these urban cores that have a lot of schools with a lot of different opportunities. I think it is unequal when we look at the entire spectrum of the state. When we get to western Kansas, when we see counties that have just one central high school, and it's already a community high school with 6 cities that are feeding into it. That's not school choice. That it means you have boundaries simply by your location. I think that is a bit unfair. Gardner will be prepared to be competitive. We are a great Johnson County school. We do have the facilities that the kids will want to be a part of, and we already have a city that we know families want to move to be a part of, so I think they'll end up becoming citizens as well.
Okay, thank you. We'll repeat the question. The state legislature recently passed a bill requiring open enrollment, allowing non-residents to enroll in USD231 schools. What are your thoughts on open enrollment and other efforts to expand school choice?
Well, I can tell you that Heath's answer was quite a lot for me to take in. Thank you, Heath. I do not have a negative stance on this issue at all. I personally think that because we do need to focus on the education of our children, we do need to work on these test scores, we do need to get our children better educated. The more we work on that, the better off our school is going to be and it's going to look like. And it's about competition when we're talking about that. Where do these parents want their students to go? You of course want them to go to the best schools. So it's going to give us a little bit of competition, yes, but we are strong enough to stand up and take that on and make sure that our students are able to get a better education than what we have been able to give so far. We've got to get those test scores up. So I'm not afraid of it. I appreciate the board already working on policies to make sure that our school district is going to be prepared for that. And I don't have a problem with it. So.
Okay. Next question will start with you. Other than funding, what do you see as the greatest challenge facing the school district?
Well, again, back to curriculum for me. The improvement of the special education department, the students and the staff is number one. Our need to hire more teachers and retain the good ones that we have. And also, a big issue that I've been hearing about as I've been walking and talking to parents is the overcrowding of our high school. We need to talk about that more. We need to get a handle on what we're going to do in regards to that. Second, high school needs to be on the plate. I know it's money and I know it's, but there's overcrowding. Students are suffering because of it. It's causing issues that none of us want to have at our high schools. It's distractions with the fights and in the hallways because it's just too much for these kiddos. So we need to discuss that. That's a big one for me as well.
Thank you. Heath, other than funding, what do you see as the greatest challenge facing the school district?
Obviously, a couple of things have been repeated time and time again, and that's because they are critical issues. Teacher retention and our special education services. As we look at teacher retention, we have to be more creative in solving that problem. Of course, we have to continue to measure how our compensation package compares to our neighboring districts. We are in a competitive market in Johnson County. But more importantly, we have to look and see what can we do, even laying foundations earlier in that process. Right now, there's a club called Education Rising to the High School. These are current students who are looking ahead to a possible career in education. I think it's something that we should look at and create incentive packages, return to home education packages. If you're going to come back to Gardner, maybe that means that you could be a step or two above your peers that are coming from an outside district because you're a homegrown educator that'll continue to feed into the city that we're so proud of. Our special education programs, we have to continue to identify both long-term solutions, but understanding where the very critical and very quick fix problems are. As I've talked to a lot of folks, the number of times I've heard people explain that they don't understand how to navigate the path for their child. That part of me is something I really do see as a failure in the system. If I have a child within that system, I should know exactly who to turn to when I have a question and who's going to solve that problem for me. Some of these solutions can be quick fixes, and I think we have to attack those wholeheartedly while also focusing on the long-term problems that will continue to be part of all of our budget planning, all of our retention efforts, and all of our special education funding.
We'll stick with you for the next question. Why are you seeking this public office?
So I've always been driven to serve. I love Gardner. This is my hometown. I want to get back in every way that I can. That's why I served on the city council. That's why I served on the planning commission. But more importantly, it is a bit of a selfish reason. My wife's a teacher, my boy's a son. Again, I understand how these policy decisions that the school board makes impacts our families. And I think I can help. And when I think I can help, I'm driven to do so. So that's why I'm running. You know, the old adage, I'm a bit of a gambler. I am pot vested in this town. And I want to go all in and give everything I can to make sure that we reach the levels of success that I think we're capable of. We've been there before. I don't think we've gotten that far off of it. I always have a positive outlook on this city. I do think that we're a shining light here in Johnson County. And I do think we have so much to give. And our school is still something that brings citizens to our city and will always continue to do so, but we can do so much more. And that's why I want to run, because I want to be part of that process. I want to be someone that can be counted on to be an open ear, an open mind, and a critical thinker to solve these problems that will make that a solution that we'll see coming as a positive result.
Thank you. Threasa, why are you seeking this public office?
Well, our family, as I said before, I've lived in Gardner for 34 years now. It's our home. We're not going anywhere. I can't even get my husband to move off our lot. So our family loves Gardner, and as I mentioned before, we've been trailblazers for a very long time and enjoyed every minute of it. We have a granddaughter who attends 4th grade at Sunflower Elementary, one who's going to be coming of age for kindergarten very soon, and I have 2 grandchildren that would love to attend the school out here. So I am very eager and have a lot vested in making sure that we have the right people in the school board, and I hope that you think that I'm that right person. I know that I'm going to be working very diligently to make sure that our students have the best education that they can. I'm eager for our schools to get back on track and be the excellent schools that they, that I know they can be. And I'm just very passionate about our community right now. There's a lot that we need to do for it, and I want to give back, and that's really why I'm running.
Okay, thank you. And we'll stay with you for our last question before closing statements. What makes you uniquely qualified to serve on the board and most distinguishes you from your opponent in this race?
Well, I'm not looking for a position as an opportunity to gain recognition in the community. I am doing this to make a difference where we seem to need it the most in today's world, and that's with our children's education. I am a hardworking individual who cares about the children's education, and I am not afraid to put in the time and effort that it's going to take to help make a difference in our district. I believe in common sense solutions, and I'm a good listener, and who is eager to have discussions with experienced teachers currently making a difference in their classrooms, and I really think that they are going to be able to give us a lot of answers that we need, because they deal with our children every single day. It's easy to look down from the top and see what it is that we maybe should do, but I really think that we need to be down in the trenches, and that's where my passion is right now, and that's why I want to be in this race, because I think that I'm a good communicator in regards to that, and I can be down there and helping get some ideas to the top.
Okay. Thank you. Heath, what makes you uniquely qualified to serve on the board and most distinguishes you from your opponent in this race?
Well, I think the combination of my engagement and my experience over the last several years, not only in local government, just in the community as a whole, really maybe sets me apart in this. Serving on the city council gave me an opportunity to understand what it takes to develop sound policy. It also taught me how to invest myself more completely within the community, not only within the schools, but the city and all of this, because I do think we are all one solution though the school board plays the role that we're looking at right now. My perspective on the city, I think our board members should absolutely have a sense of optimism. I think they should believe in our schools, they should believe in our teachers, and they should believe in our students. They should be driving towards the sense of excellence that all of us think our district's capable of, and will continue to do so. I think those are the 2 things that really set me apart in this race, is the engagement and the reputation I've developed over these many years discussing, local elections, some of you've seen on Facebook, whether it was in the city council and other things. I don't like to argue in the chaos of the divisiveness. I like to find common sense solutions and offer critical thinking to whatever I think is the best path forward, and try to do that not only with a sense of strength in my own opinion on that matter, but also being respectful of everyone else's opinions at the table and understanding that compromise is a power that we have and will help us move forward.
All right, thank you. We will conclude with our closing statements from each candidate, beginning opposite order from our introductory statements. So Threasa, you'll be first. After 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you again, Chamber, for this forum and for everyone in attendance tonight and everybody watching out there in the internet world. I just want to say again that my main passion for running for this is that I do love our community. I have kids here, I have grandkids here. I want to make sure that they have a good future, and I just really feel like with all the things that are going on in the world, we must start at a local level, and that's what I'm trying to do. My kids have been here for a long time, we've been here for a long time. I just see a need. I want to make sure that it is filled with someone who has the passion to push, you know, a little bit over the top maybe sometimes, to make sure that our kids get what they need. I look forward to working hard with the other board members and the superintendent, the teachers, the staff, and the parents to increase our district's progress in giving all to our children and the best education possible to help them be prepared as young adults for the future beyond graduation. Again, I'm Threasa Lane. I'm running for school board at large, and we do need everybody to get out and vote on November 7th, so I hope that you will, and drag a few people with you. It's a very important race, and I thank you so much for the time this evening.
Heath, closing statement.
Again, like everyone else, we can't thank the Chamber enough for putting this together. This is the opportunity for everyone to hear all of us speak before you. I appreciate everyone that was here tonight and offered their thoughts and spoke so clearly with the questions that we got asked about. Obviously, need to take a moment to thank my wife and my family that have been so supportive along the way, and all the folks that have helped throughout the campaign. I'd also like to thank Mr. Varnerschmidt for his service. We appreciate that, and I'm just glad to hear the time you spent with us today. And then Mrs. Lane's willingness to serve. I admire the work she's done in the campaign. We've seen that along the way. Obviously, we've all been on a lot of porches, and we've all done a lot of work to speak to Alan's 20 hours a week. It's not a lot. We have all been working very hard, so I admire the effort that we've all been able to put into this. My family and I are fierce defenders of public education. We love being Blazers, and we understand that our public schools are the cornerstone of our communities. And I want to do everything within my power to push USD to be the head of the class. Our district is best served by leaders who are accessible, accountable, engaged, and informed. That's what I bring to the table, and that's a reputation I've worked hard to cultivate. I believe in the strength of our community and in the power of collaboration. I'm confident that when we treat our parents, students, teachers, and staff with dignity, trust, and respect they deserve, then USD will be amongst the best districts in the state of Kansas. We are stronger together, and we need to push through the divisiveness and the chaos. We need to fully focus on pushing our district forward. We need to use our strategic plan, recently passed through the board, and carve the path to excellence. And I believe I'm the best candidate that can help us do so. As many have mentioned here, one of my main goals since the day we started the campaign is I'd like to break the turnout record for municipal elections in Gardner, Kansas. It is an abysmal statistic on how low we get with that number. I think all the effort we're doing here amongst all the candidates is going to allow us to do that. I will leave you with a small quote from an anonymous source. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. My name is Heath Freeman. I'm running for the at-large position, and I hope I've earned your vote.
All right, thank you both for your participation here this evening.